this is Angela with Parkrose Permaculture. I'm here with Ruth, and we are picking up a swarm of bees that we have caught in Northeast Portland. So we came and shook the bees out of the tree, and I'm going to put up some video of that, and we let them all settle into a box, and now we are coming to collect the colony and return them home. So Ruth, is there anything that you want to say?
It's kind of a tricky swarm to catch because they said it was about 10 feet up in the air. It was actually like 16, 17 feet up in the air. So I had to get on a ladder and try and scoop some into a box, but that didn't get all of them. So we took a hoe and shook some bees into the box, and then the box fell on the ground, an accident. Sorry, bees. But it was good because then we could see if the queen was in there, and she was.
She was in there.
And so then we left and had dinner and came back a couple hours, and they all gone into the box because they could smell the queen in the box. So let's just show you.
When we first arrived, the bees were centered in the middle of a tree on a thick branch. There were a lot of other branches directly below it, which made getting in and accessing the swarm a little bit difficult. Here you can see after we first began shaking the branches, many bees took to the air.
Also, there's like a ball on the other side of this, which makes me think they can smell.
They can smell her, and they're moving around.
There's a ball right here, so they can smell her through the cardboard. Do you want me to move them?
You can gently move them, sure. Whatever you want, kiddo.
Don't mind me.
Oh. They really are going toward that, aren't they? It was a good thing you knocked it on the ground, Ruth. It was a lot easier for us to confirm.
Also, I didn't knock it on the ground. You did by shaking it.
I shook it too hard. Sorry.
I was stabilizing the box.
It really wasn't like an ideal situation.
Yeah.
Look at, see, some of them have their butts way up in the air signaling.
Yeah.
The queen's pheromone lingers up in the tree, and it can take the colony a while to figure out she has moved down into the box. So we need to be patient and give all of the workers time to realize their queen has moved to a new location and follow her into the box. This can take hours.
So here you can see they've kind of all gathered on this part of the box, which is where I thought the queen was before, because they were gathering on both sides of the cardboard because they could smell her. But now they were mostly up in that tree. Now they're pretty much all in this box, so we can seal it up and take them. So here you put the box upright, and we're trying to work slowly so that these last couple of stragglers can get in the box. There's always going to be a couple left behind because there'll be a few confused ones who don't know where the queen is, and that's just how it is. But we're trying to let as many get in there as we can.
Okay, so we've shown up, and the bees have had more than 2 hours to kind of settle down in the box, and sometimes that's enough time, and sometimes they need a little bit longer. So let me show you what they look like right now. So this is after 2 hours, and there's probably still 50 bees buzzing around the outside of the box, but the vast majority have moved in. And the queen is actually inside this lip because that's where the first bee ball was in here. I'm going to close this up and kind of narrow the opening, and hopefully these last 50 or so bees are going to settle down. That would be great. You can see here, there are other ones sticking their butts up in the air, communicating, Everybody, hey, let's come settle down in the box. I feel really comfortable around these bees. This is a really, really chill colony. They're not angry, they're not upset.
I'm not even wearing a suit.
Ruth's not wearing a suit. And I'm not wearing gloves, even though I'm very sensitive to bee venom. But I feel real safe. This is a very chill colony, so I hope they end up being hardy. Sometimes the more docile your colony, the less hardy it is, but we'll see. So we're gonna sit here quietly and just let them settle down into the box. So over time, the percentage of confused bees in the air starts to diminish as they all kind of catch a whiff of the queen's pheromone and they get with the program and they start to move down into the box. So there's just a couple of dozen bees left right now in the air, and they're slowly working their way into the box because they know that their queen is in there.
Here some of them are signaling to the rest of the stragglers to get in the box. Some of them will stick their little booties out and like signal. There's still some stragglers left in the tree, like 20 of them on the original spot where the queen was, because there's still her pheromones. So I don't think they'll get in yet, if ever. There'll always be some left behind.
All right. So as we're sitting here waiting for the last few straggling bees to get with the program and get in the box, I thought I would just talk a little bit about our process of swarm capture. This was one of the messiest swarm captures I've done so far. It took us less than an hour to collect the bees, but a little bit clumsy. They were higher up in a tree than I thought. I couldn't quite reach them from the ladder, and actually I had to text my friend Matt and be like, oh, what do I do? But then the homeowner came out with a large garden hoe. So normally if they're hanging off a branch, I can just shake the branch really hard. This was a big, thick branch in the middle of the tree, and I couldn't shake it. I couldn't reach it with my hands. But then even if I could have reached it with my hands, it was so big, I couldn't really exert enough force on it to knock the bees out. So when he brought me the garden hoe, I was able to yank really hard on the tree and knock the bees into the box. Unfortunately, that then knocked the box off the ladder and onto the ground. So my clumsiest collection so far. Ruth was tons and tons of help. Luckily, when the box was knocked to the ground, the queen was actually inside of it, so we just left it on the ground and the bees started rapidly moving into the box, which is the easiest sign for knowing if you have the queen. If you shake your ball of bees and they move back up into the tree, you know the queen is still up in the tree. If they start moving into the box, you know you've got her. Ideally, we would have removed handful over handful the bees, but they were just too high up. So this was the next best solution. Wasn't ideal, we've caught them all. We just want to give those last 20 or so bees a chance to get down in the box, and then we're going to take them home and put them in my empty cathedral hive. Now my cathedral hive was full of honey, but had an abscond sometime after or around the bad ice storm that we had in Portland. There's hardly any dead bees inside. When I had checked on it on a warm day before the ice storm, there were bees coming out for cleansing flights, so I knew the colony was still going. So I'm not quite sure what happened. Often we don't know what happens with the bee colony. We don't know why the colony doesn't survive, but there's a very poor overwinter survival rate in most cities in the United States. So I'm really grateful to get a new swarm. Really sad that I lost that colony, but glad to give this colony a home. And they're going to move into a hive that has a lot of honey and a lot of comb left in it, and they'll be able to repurpose that and reuse it. So looking forward to getting these girls home and in a hive. Glad we were able to catch them so they don't end up in the walls of somebody's house or inside another structure where an exterminator is going to come remove them. Obviously, we're really pleased to be able to catch a swarm and take it home. It's not the prettiest collection I've ever done, but it worked and we've got ourselves a new bee colony. So really love beekeeping with my teenager. I think it's a really fun hobby. We have a good time doing it together. Just a really great afternoon. So hopefully can hear them still maybe buzzing behind me. Hopefully these last few bees are going to get in the box so we can get them home and in their hive before dark. So we're back home. You can see this is the Cathedral Hive. I've removed some of the bars so that we can successfully get the bees in here. This is a hive that didn't make it through the winter, and we're gonna let the new colony of bees reuse the honey and comb that was in here and give them a little jump start. So when working with bees, they don't like loud noises and they don't like your carbon dioxide breathed right into their home. Carbon dioxide is a big trigger of aggression for them. It triggers them to defend their colony because they think you're a black bear or some such that has come to raid their honey. So you want to try and avoid breathing directly into the colony if you can. Now folks ask, is it okay to move a new colony in where an old colony was? They will clean all of this up. They will reuse the propolis, the wax, the honey, and they will clean up any dead bees and spiders or things that have moved in. So we're gonna open this and we're gonna try and gently shake it in and hopefully get the queen in here. Now Ruth could also scoop some of them in if she wanted to.
Probably will.
Yeah, she probably will.
Was where the hat lady.
Oh, my hat. Okay.
Recording?
Mm-hmm.
It's so warm. It's like hot. Oh, that wasn't very good. I don't leave.
Okay, go ahead.
Another big one.
So Ruth is just trying to gently transition them into the colony. We could shake the whole box in, but because this cathedral hive is fairly petite, it actually works better to gently put handfuls of the bees in. If you work slowly and you don't roll and squish them, they don't mind being moved in this way. These bees are going to get very excited very quickly because there is a lot of honey and comb in this colony for them to reuse. You might ask, why did I leave some in here? Well, you can see it's really mixed. We took plenty of honey for ourselves, but we want to leave some for these girls and give them a little bit of a jump start. Any sign of the queen yet, Ruth?
Her, but
they seem excited to be finding the honey, but the more you interact with the bees and get to know their sounds, you can tell when they're sounding irritated, when they're sounding grouchy, and when you need to back up. And right now they sound pretty pleasant and pretty chill.
When you're scooping out the bees, you can really feel how warm they are. They're not cold-blooded. They can produce their own body heat.
Yeah, so when we picked up the box, you could feel, taking it out of the minivan, how warm it was from all of the bees inside. It's really cool to pick them up and hold them in your hands. You can feel the heat radiating off of them. Just want to get this one over. She's not angry, she's just... The bees are super excited to find all of this honey already in here. Ruth is continuing to gently move them in. Then we'll go ahead and get this hive closed up and let them settle in for the night. It's starting to get dark, so I'm going to wrap up here. Thank you for watching. We'll let you know the progress of this colony throughout the year. If your kids are interested in beekeeping and you're in the Portland area, or you are interested in beekeeping, Portland Urban Beekeepers Facebook group is a great resource. Also the treatment-free Beekeepers Facebook group. So that's a little look at our brand new colony. Thanks for watching. I'll be back.